All right, so we are live tonight. Miss Universe 2024
Yeah.
coming to us from Mexico City. And I'm ready to break down all the predictions and all the excitement,
Mm.
especially with you here, after taking a look at what some of the fans and experts are expecting this year.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
It's going to be big.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about who wears the crown best.
Right.
We're looking at a global stage,
Absolutely.
global representation, advocacy, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you ready to dive in?
Let's dive in.
Let's do it. All right. Well, first of all, Mexico is welcoming back Miss Universe after 17 years. Like, their last hosting gig was way back in 2007. And they're known for really going all out with international events. So I have a feeling we're in for something spectacular.
Yeah, I think, Mexico's got a reputation for kind of, they do things big.
Yeah,
And I think there's going to be a lot of excitement around that.
Definitely.
Kind of that homecoming energy.
for sure. And to add to that, there are 130 delegates competing this year. That's massive.
That's a lot.
It's one of the biggest turnouts in Miss Universe history.
It is. Yeah.
Like, can you imagine the
Yeah.
energy with so many cultures represented?
Yeah. It makes you wonder, like in a competition that big, how do certain contestants, how do they stand out? What are those qualities that really make a Miss Universe stand out in 2024?
That's a great question. And, speaking of standouts, two names that everyone's talking about are Chelsea Manalo from the Philippines
Right.
and Victoria Vincent representing New Zealand.
Yeah.
They're generating a lot of buzz even before the show starts. What have you been hearing about them?
Well, Chelsea Manalo, she's so elegant. Her national costume just blew me away. It was inspired by these traditional Filipiniana designs. But beyond that, I think what's captivating everyone is her advocacy.
Okay.
She's very focused on education and
Mhm.
especially creating opportunities for girls in communities where they might not have them.
Wow.
She even shared this anecdote about visiting this, village in the Philippines that was really remote. And the girls there, they had to walk miles to get to school.
Wow.
And you could tell that experience, really solidified for her that she wants to use her platform to advocate for equal access to education.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's a far cry from the stereotypical image of a beauty queen.
Right.
It sounds like she's bringing a lot of substance to this competition.
She is.
That's so cool. What about Victoria Vincent? She has a pretty unique story, right?
She does, yeah. Victoria Vincent is actually Filipina, but she's representing New Zealand.
Hmm.
And she's competed in the Philippines for years, trying to make her way through. And she's spoken very openly about some of the challenges she faced, almost giving up on her dream.
Yeah.
So, for her to make it to this Miss Universe stage, it says a lot about her resilience.
Oh, for sure. And imagine this. Imagine Manalo and Vincent in the final five, both with these incredibly powerful personal stories and both really dedicated to empowering women.
Yeah.
How electric would that be?
Yeah. It is really fascinating how their journeys intertwine. And it really makes you think about, the Philippines is always such a powerhouse,
Right.
They're consistently placing high in the rankings.
Exactly.
Could Victoria Vincent, with her underdog story, steal the spotlight?
Wow. Yeah. That's why I love Miss Universe.
Right.
It's these stories, these personal narratives.
Right.
And it's not just the glitz and the glamour. Now, they're obviously not the only ones turning heads. Who else is Culture Eye?
Well, Ecuador's delegate, she's just a firecracker.
Yeah.
I think it was in one of the preliminary interviews, they asked her about handling online criticism.
Oh, interesting.
And she said, and I quote, "I turn negativity into fuel for my ambition."
Oh, I like her.
She's got this boldness.
Yeah, very captivating personality.
Okay, so we've got Ecuador. Anyone else? Of course, Venezuela is always a force to be reckoned with.
Right.
Their delegate has just this aura of poise, this aura of confidence. She just, she's the winner.
You can just tell. Yeah.
But then there's also Kenya's representative who has this quiet elegance. And she's chosen to focus on an issue that often gets overlooked.
Okay.
Food security.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
And, she's bringing attention to the challenges that so many communities are facing, especially across Africa.
So we've got a variety of topics that are being represented here.
We do, yeah.
That's cool. Oh, and before I forget, India's national costume.
Yeah.
It was show-stopping.
It was stunning.
Yeah.
Just a marvel of craftsmanship, and it was clearly a tribute to her heritage.
For sure. So, okay. It sounds like we've got a really good sense of this year's contestants and how diverse they are. But with so much talent, what are the judges going to be looking for? Like, what are those key things that are going to really stand out to them, do you think?
Well, I think the classic elements are still important, you
Yeah.
know, that grace, that poise, the eloquence. But I think in today's world, Miss Universe is more than just aesthetics.
Right.
I think the judges are looking for a global ambassador, someone who can articulate their vision for a better world, someone who can inspire others to take action.
Yeah, and it sounds like we've already seen that.
Right.
A lot of these contestants are already using their platform
Mhm.
to advocate for these important causes. So it seems like intelligence and social consciousness are just as important as anything else. you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're seeing a shift in what it means to be Miss Universe.
Oh, for sure.
It's not just about physical beauty anymore.
Mhm.
It's about the power of your voice,
Right.
the impact of advocacy,
Okay.
and the potential to make a real difference.
Yeah. And that's exciting. I mean, the judges have their work cut out for them.
They do.
This is going to be an unforgettable night.
Huh.
But before we get into, the individual journeys of some of these contestants, I think it's worth taking a moment to appreciate, the global tapestry that Miss Universe represents. I mean, we've got over 130 countries represented here.
It's incredible.
Each delegate has their own unique story and background and perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a reminder that we're all interconnected,
For sure.
and it's a beautiful display of diversity.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. All right, so now let's turn our attention to Chelsea Manalo. She's been captivating audiences with her grace, her intelligence, and her commitment to education.
Mm-hmm.
So what can you tell us about her journey to the Miss Universe stage?
I think her journey to the Miss Universe stage has really been driven by this passion for education. She, growing up, she witnessed this disparity in educational opportunities, even in her own country.
Yeah.
And it really lit a fire in her to be an advocate for change.
So it sounds like, it goes beyond just wanting to wear a crown. It's about making a difference.
Right. She's not just talking the talk.
Okay.
She's walking the walk.
Okay.
She's involved in a bunch of different nonprofit organizations in the Philippines that are, really focused on providing scholarships, building schools in rural areas.
That's amazing.
One of her initiatives even, raised enough funds to build a library and computer lab in a community where the children had no access to those things.
Wow. That's making a real difference.
Yeah.
I'm sure our listener who's interested in impactful advocacy is finding this as inspiring as I am.
I think so too, yeah.
It's really cool.
And what's even more remarkable about her is she doesn't shy away from the hard stuff, She acknowledges that lack of education, it's not just about infrastructure.
Yeah.
It's about breaking down those cultural barriers that often prevent girls from even pursuing their education.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
It sounds like she's approaching this with a very nuanced understanding of the problem.
she's
She's not just kind of, looking at it from a surface level.
Mhm.
She's really getting into, like, what are the real issues here?
right.
What specifically is she doing to address those cultural barriers?
Well, one of the things she's focusing on is working with community leaders,
Oh,
parents, to shift these ingrained mindsets about the importance of educating girls.
interesting.
And she's been also really key in launching mentorship programs
Okay.
that connect these young girls with successful women in different fields
Mm-hmm.
to really showcase, what education can unlock for them.
Yeah. Almost like role models, right? Like
Yeah.
showing them, like, hey, this is possible for you too.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's pretty powerful.
So it's amazing, I mean, how she's using her platform
Yeah.
to create opportunities,
Yeah.
but then also change perceptions.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
Yeah.
Now, we can't talk about Chelsea Manalo without mentioning that national costume.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It was
Stunning.
a true celebration of Filipino heritage.
It was a showstopper.
Oh, for sure.
It was a modern take on the iconic terno,
Okay,
which is this traditional Filipino dress.
got it.
The beadwork, the embroidery, it just paid homage to the craftsmanship of Filipino artisans.
Wow.
But it wasn't just the visual spectacle,
Yeah.
it was the story behind it.
Tell me more about that.
Well, every element of that costume had symbolism in it.
Hmm.
It represented different aspects of Filipino culture and history.
Okay.
The colors were even inspired by the Philippine flag, representing unity and resilience.
Wow.
And the design incorporated elements from various indigenous tribes.
Oh, wow.
So it really highlighted the diversity of the culture.
It's incredible how she used fashion as a medium to tell a story.
Yeah,
Yeah, and celebrate her heritage.
for sure.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's turn our attention to Victoria Vincent,
Okay.
another contestant generating a lot of buzz.
Mm-hmm.
Her journey is quite unique.
It is.
Remind us of her story.
Well, Victoria's story is really a testament to perseverance. She started her pageant journey in the Philippines.
Okay.
She competed there for years.
Hmm.
She even came close to winning the national title a couple of times.
Oh, wow.
But ultimately decided to pursue this Miss Universe dream by representing New Zealand.
That must have been a difficult decision.
Yeah.
What prompted her to make that switch?
She's been very open about the challenges she faced in the Philippines,
Yeah.
She's talked about feeling like an outsider, despite her Filipino heritage.
Right.
And she felt like her unique background, it wasn't fully embraced.
Yeah, that must have been really disheartening.
It was.
Especially, after trying for so long,
Yeah.
coming so close. Yeah.
But you know what? It really fueled her determination to find a platform where she felt truly seen and celebrated.
Right.
And New Zealand offered her that opportunity.
So it sounds like her decision to represent New Zealand was about more than just chasing a crown. It was about finding a place where she could be herself.
Right.
And be, celebrated for that.
Absolutely. And that authenticity shines through every time she appears,
Okay.
She's not afraid to be vulnerable. She shares her struggles. She shares her triumphs.
That's cool.
It's that realness that connects with people.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of resilience and determination
Yeah.
that often, makes a compelling underdog story. Right?
Yeah, it does.
You mentioned earlier that the Philippines has this history of being a powerhouse in pageantry. Do you think Vincent representing New Zealand could shake things up a little bit?
It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Her unique story, her unwavering spirit, it's resonating with people.
Yeah?
She's proving that success isn't always about following that conventional path.
Right.
Sometimes it's about forging your own way,
Yeah.
defying expectations.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's inspiring.
Now we've delved into the stories of two remarkable contestants, both representing very different facets of, the modern Miss Universe.
Yeah.
But let's not forget about all the other amazing women gracing the stage tonight.
Right.
I mean, we briefly touched on some of them earlier,
We did.
but I'm curious to hear more about their journeys
Yeah.
and what they're bringing to the competition.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking about some of the other contestants
Yeah.
besides Chelsea and Victoria.
Right.
And let's start with Miss Ecuador,
Oh.
because I'm still thinking about, her response about turning criticism into fuel.
Right.
It seems like she's got this fearless attitude.
She does.
That probably translates really well on stage.
Oh, absolutely. She owns that stage.
Yeah.
I think it was during the swimsuit competition.
Okay.
She wasn't just walking, she was commanding attention
Okay.
with her confidence and this just undeniable charisma.
Yeah, she's got that it factor,
She does.
You can't really define it, but you know it when you see it.
Yeah.
And speaking of powerhouses,
Yeah.
I mean, Venezuela's delegate always seems to bring this level of polish and preparation.
Right.
That's just unmatched.
Yeah.
What have you noticed about her?
Well, there's a reason Venezuela has such a strong track record in Miss Universe.
Yeah, they do.
And this year's delegate is no exception.
Right.
She's incredibly well-spoken.
Okay.
Her styling is always impeccable.
Yeah.
And you can just tell she's put a lot of thought into, the issues facing her country and the world.
Wow.
I think it was at one of the pre-pageant events.
Okay.
She spoke so passionately about empowering young girls through education and entrepreneurship.
That's great.
And she's even launched an initiative back home
Oh, wow.
to provide mentorship and resources to aspiring female business owners.
So she's not just a beautiful face, she's got a plan.
She does. It's impressive.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Now, one delegate who really stood out to me during the prelims was Miss Kenya. I just thought her elegance and her eloquence were so captivating.
Oh, she is a gem.
Yeah.
I think what I admire most about her is her choice of advocacy.
Okay.
She's shining the spotlight on food security.
Interesting.
It's a really critical issue.
It is.
But one that often gets overshadowed by other global concerns.
Yeah, for sure.
And she's talked about, how climate change and conflict are just exacerbating hunger in many parts of Africa.
Yeah.
And she's really advocating for these sustainable agricultural practices and policies that prioritize food distribution to those communities that need it the most.
Yeah.
So it's refreshing to see a contestant tackling such a complex issue.
It is. It shows that she's really thought about this and she's genuinely committed to making a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And speaking of amazing, let's not forget about Miss India.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
her national costume was just, it was a work of art.
It was. It was just this visual masterpiece. I mean,
Yeah.
all the colors, the textures. Yeah,
It was a true celebration of Indian artistry and craftsmanship,
absolutely.
but it wasn't just, the look of it.
Right.
I was so impressed with her ability to explain,
Yeah.
the meaning behind each detail.
Okay.
She talked about how her costume represented the diversity of Indian culture,
Wow.
the strength of the women,
Mm.
the resilience of the people.
So she really turned fashion into like a cultural narrative.
She did. It was powerful.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds like, she really embodies that blend of beauty and brains and purpose
Yeah.
that we're seeing more and more in Miss Universe.
Yeah. It's inspiring to see these women using their platform to raise awareness about these issues that matter.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there can only be one winner.
Right.
What do you think that moment signifies for, whoever is crowned tonight?
I think it's just a culmination of months of hard work, dedication,
Yeah.
They've really committed themselves.
To represent something bigger than themselves.
Right, right.
But I think more importantly, it marks the beginning of their journey
Yeah.
as this global ambassador.
Yeah.
They have this opportunity now to really amplify their voices,
Mhm.
to advocate for these causes that they believe in,
Yeah.
and to inspire other people to make a difference.
It's a huge responsibility,
It is.
but it's also an incredible opportunity
It is, yeah.
to have that kind of impact.
Yeah, for sure.
As we approach the final moments of this competition, it's clear that Miss Universe is not just about beauty.
Right.
It's about the power of a voice,
Mhm.
the importance of advocacy,
Yeah.
and the potential to create real lasting change.
Exactly. These women are not just contestants, they are role models, change makers, ambassadors for a better future.
Absolutely. So as we watch the new Miss Universe crown tonight, let's remember that the true victory lies in the collective impact
Right.
of all these incredible women. They're showing us that beauty can be a force for good,
Absolutely.
and that every voice has the power to make a difference.
And that's a message worth celebrating.
It is. It is.
So tune in tonight, everyone, and let's witness the crowning of a new era of global leadership and empowerment.
Yes. This is going to be exciting. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive.
Of course. Thanks for having me.